This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Welcome to my fully operational Star Wars analysis. This is episode 57 of Fully Operational. I'm taking a new tact with things. Story is everything. Just remember that. That's going to be kind of my focus as I talk about these things. And so I'm here to talk about Chapter 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. So I want to know, I'm curious, how does Boba Fett hold up to the close scrutiny of a series focused on him? It's time to find out by taking a look at the first installment of the series. Book of Boba Fett Chapter 1, entitled Stranger in a Strange Land, was directed by Robert Rodriguez and written by Jon Favreau. The original release date is December 29th, 2021. So this is a full spoiler analysis. Don't be surprised when it's spoiled. This is coming out a little bit later, so you probably won't be spoiled anyway. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Tusken Raiders. I don't understand what was going on with the Tuskens, other than I guess they enslave people when they can, and they use their labor in order to enrich their lives and make things better for themselves. At one point it looked as if they were, when that, I'm assuming, female Tusken fought against Boba, it looked like maybe they were trying to recruit him, see if he was a powerful enough warrior, and if he was, they would accept him into their ranks perhaps. That implication is reinforced to me when he's handed the watermelon. That's not what I meant, but the fruit containing the water at the end of the episode after he's come back victorious over whatever that creature was. And anyway, so I think that's interesting because, I'm kind of operating both off of information I have from Tusken Raider stories from previous Star Wars books and such, and then as well the show. I'm trying to really focus on just the show because the show is written to an audience that, is a pretty wide. It's much wider than the book fans or the movie fans alone, because it's it's this bigger thing. So could you tell that all on its own? I think so. I think you can definitely tell what was going on. So that was good. The next thing I wanted to talk, as a side tangent before I leave the Tuskens alone, I was a little bit hopeful when I saw that female-looking Tusken fighting with Boba and also kind of seemingly leading things a little bit. I was hoping, and if speaking of niche audiences, if you know John Jackson Miller's Kenobi series, or Kenobi book, I should say, a Yark. I was hoping it was a Yark, and I doubt it was. I saw no plug eye, but who knows? Anything can happen in a galaxy far, far away. Although I don't know the geography. Mos Espa versus wherever Luke was, I don't remember what area he's in, so I couldn't say. And I think, so Mos Eisley is the cantina that he goes to. It looks like it's a schlep to get there. That was a different place. I was going to say the one where they fought the Crate Dragon, but that's somewhere totally different, so never mind. So, anyway, what's it, Mos Pilia or something like that? Anyway, doesn't matter. Moving on. The gang that Boba and the Tusken Kid and the Rodian saw as they were going to the place where they were going to get the melons is interesting. The episode was only 36 or so minutes runtime, like 35 minutes runtime, I guess you could say, if you discount the credits rolling and all that. So it's interesting to me that they took the time to show them. I thought they were going to fight them. I thought they were going to be an obstacle. Obviously, to my mind, they're planting seeds that Boba may have to deal with this gang. I was assuming originally that he'd have to deal with them when he escaped. He didn't escape. Maybe he and the Sand People will have to join forces and work together to ward these guys off. Or perhaps, as the guys were throwing up like a gang sign, kind of like a claw, I wonder, I just automatically thought I wonder what these guys are called. Are they the Crate Dragons? Is that like a Crate Dragon paw print, or not paw print, but like footprint that they're drawing there? I don't know, maybe. It's, three-toed, it's vaguely birdish or dinosaurish or something, so it could be something like that. So anyway, I don't know. And I guess I don't mean dinosaurs, I mean pteropodish. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's a tangent. So anyway, I'm now wondering if he doesn't address that gang as he's working and living with the Tuskens, is he going to be instead Fighting with Tuskens? That's the name of a movie right there. Anyway, will he have to deal with that gang, which has grown to some power in his current life as Boss Boba, which that's the name I'm going with. I said Kingpin Boba, but I like Boss Boba better. Alliteration is my friend. So anyway, moving on to the healing tank. So the healing tank is interesting. I like it. I like that we're getting 2 looks for Temuera Morrison, or for Boba Fett. I like that we're getting his normal, darker skinned, obviously, more handsome, less disfigured look. And I like that we're getting him all ragged and, chewed up from the Sarlacc acid, which, by the way, I forgot to mention that watching him get out of the Sarlacc was pretty cool. I didn't understand the whole thing about him getting the air tube from the stormtrooper that was trapped in there too, but whatever. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It was just kind of an odd thing, and I'm guessing he needed oxygen, so he got it, or tried to get some, and then he busted his way out of there. So anyway, whatever. That was interesting. But the healing tank being the conceit and the framing device for at least this episode, if not the whole show, which I hope that's not what it is interesting because he mentions to Fennec Shand as he wakes up that the dreams are back. So he's had many treatments in this healing bath, which you can tell he's come a long way, baby. Because he was, white and scarred and had all these lines all over him. And when it's fresh, when he's with the Tuskens, it looks really bad. And obviously he's a much healthier looking himself after all the treatments. And we don't know how long he's been there, how many treatments have been set up. Presumably would have taken some time for the word to get around that he was the new boss in town. See what I did there? I'm justifying my use of Boss Boba. Anyway, and that, he had time for the treatments to work on him in order for... did he have to buy the thing? Do you have to get it from off... I don't know any of that stuff, but I would assume he got it after killing Bib Fortuna, and then, maybe raiding whatever money was there, buy the healing tank, bring it there, whatever. So, anyway, but the healing tank being the conceit for him going back into his memories of the past, I don't really like that. It doesn't really make sense. If it is the thing that pushes him into memories and gives us as an audience the flashbacks, I think that will be bad. I think instead they should start the episodes with him waking up, or just have it be bound to nothing. Just have part of the episode be in the past, part of the episode be in the present. I personally would prefer the beginning half of an episode was in the past, and then the present stuff was in the second half of the episode. That to me would make more sense. I was frustrated with it in Arrow, and I was frustrated that it kept happening again and again. And I think throughout the entire run of the entire show, they did that for 7 or 8 years, and that just kind of boggled my mind. But anyway, I don't want to talk much about that. I think it's an interesting conceit, but I think it's a little overused, and my relationship with it is tenuous, and I don't want to see it used every single episode. That's my conclusion there on the healing tank conceit for the flashbacks or memories. So while Boba Fett is an honorable guy, he shows restraint and mercy and things like that, he still is operating as a crime boss, and because of that, he wants and expects tribute from certain people. I'm sure because he saw Jabba got tribute from certain people, and then Bib Fortuna in Jabba's absence probably got tribute from certain people, and now Boba's just stepping in and filling that void and wanting that tribute as well, which is perfectly natural. But the complication, of course, comes in when the not Techno Union. I'm a prequel fan, can you tell? Anyway, when the majordomo of the mayor of, I think, Mos Espa basically says, no, we're not giving you a tribute, and we're expecting a tribute from you, and there may be big consequences to pay for that. I like that scene, both or for multiple reasons. One backing up real quick. That Trandoshan gave a Wookiee pelt to my man Boba Fett. That was crazy. We know that they hunt Wookiees, but we've never seen such stark, blatant evidence of it, unless you count that Clone Wars episode with your girl Ahsoka and Chewie and a couple other Wookiees. Man, that was crazy. Gosh. Anyway, it was like Predator a little bit. Anyway, that's a big tangent. But yeah, that was cool because in the lore of Star Wars, EU stuff, early EU stuff, it was said that Trandoshans the Trandoshan planet and the Wookiee planet Kashyyyk are like pretty close to each other, and for whatever reason the Trandoshans would hunt Wookiees, and it's like a part of their culture or whatever. So that was cool. I also like that Boba's little comment about the Trandoshan compliment sounding like a threat too. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, moving on. So there's like a seed of a conflict being planted with the mayor, but in that scene we also got this weird other seed or other nugget or glimpse into Boba Fett's character, where he didn't want Ming-Na Wen, or shoot, that's the actress. He didn't want Fennec Shand to kill this, government official, and she had to ask him, like, do you want me to kill him? And he said, nah, he works for the mayor. So that's no. Okay. So now we know that for some reason he doesn't want to kill government officials. That's, why? Why, and how will that come back at him? Because earlier in the flashback, we saw that he knocked out and then utilized the teeth of that, Tusken dog, I'm going to call it, Tusken Barker. And he didn't kill it, and I thought, oh, he's going to snap this thing's neck, but he didn't, and then it ended up being useful to him later on in the episode. So that's just kind of interesting. Just like the Gamorrean guards. Continuing on, he talks about respect. He wants people to respect him. He wants them to see that he's walking on his own 2 feet. He's not like Jabba being carried around like a useless noble, is what he said. So and again, because of the flashbacks, because we know what his life was, sorry, I'm trying not to include prequel information or Clone Wars information in this as much as possible for my characterization of Boba Fett. We got to see him working hard in the Tusken camp. We got to see him work hard to free himself. We got to see him try to get the Rodian to work with him 2 times, and he planned on having the guy help him work out of the situation, and he promised that he'd get him off planet, so there was like going to be a reciprocity, like, hey, you help me get out of here, you make it easier for me, and I'll get us both off planet, kind of like you aided me, so I'm going to aid you and pay you back, and there's like an honor in the transaction, and there's the mutual respect from getting through the situation together. So he's got this idea of honor and reciprocity and like working for things and earning things, which is really cool to see. So I like that, and I like that he's going around and he's paying visits to people. He's telling them, I'm going to protect you, and for that I demand the tribute, I demand the payment, but like I want this to be a respectful, mutually beneficial relationship. You have people who will threaten you, I have the force to stop them, and for my trouble I want payment, which is basically just I hadn't thought about this yet, it's kind of just an extension of being a bounty hunter, because as a bounty hunter he's like a private security force, and it's like for an individual at a particular time, and now he's becoming a private security force for a township, a principality, like a small area, a small geographic area. So instead of having to hunt for game or hunt for bounties, instead he's kind of playing this bounty hunter protectorate role for hire for Mos Espa, I guess, is the area where isn't it the Mos Eisley Cantina though? Shouldn't it? Anyway, I don't know. I'm bad on my geography, both in and out of the Star Wars universe. So I'll stop before I hurt myself. So moving on from that, I kind of touched on this already. He has this idea of earning keep that he is very like that. I'm talking all about the character of Boba Fett. In light of events and events of the episode and aspects of the story. So, like I said, we already get to see that he is into earning his keep. He wants to stand on his own, and all of these things are being reinforced by the different modes, the different bits of his story that we're having revealed to us in this episode. So it's doing good work. They're showing, they're not telling. He never says, I earn my keep. But he does say, I like to walk on my own 2 feet. But I think that was for something different, and it presented a good opportunity for him and Fennec Shand to have some conflict and work through their characters together. So that's good, especially for people who are jumping into this who haven't seen any of them in The Mandalorian, who haven't seen them in any previous show. If this is the first show, it's good because it's setting up and it's showing us ways that they're different from each other, and it's showing us the tension that arises from that, but also how they balance off of each other and work together. We don't necessarily know why she's working for him, but we know that she does, and she's a pretty faithful employee so far, as we've seen. So moving on to the next bit, I touched on things that Boba Fett has done. He's saved people, or he's tried to work with people, or he's volunteered to help. And I wonder, and I think even the Tusken kid, he's like about to whack him, and then he kind of relents and pulls back, and he doesn't whack the kid like you think he might want to, or like he obviously wanted to because he was going to, and then he decided against it. Anyway, what I'm thinking about with that is he merciful or is he shrewd? Is he using more carrot than stick, or is he willing to use? Is his instinct to use the carrot until he has to use the stick, and then he's going to use the stick effectively or very well? I can kind of see that being the case, and I think that's pretty interesting. Again, Fennec Shand, wanting him to kill somebody, and when the government official, the mayordomo, that's the Spanish, the majordomo, wanted to, slowly, subtly introduce the fact that he wasn't giving them money. Boba said, it's fine for now, and he wanted to let it slide, whereas Shand wanted to come down harder. Also, like that droid, I think, was that EV9 that was torturing droids and stuff? Anyway, I think it was. It's been previously, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the droid was like, you must project strength in Tatooine, and the only way to do that is by torturing people and letting the screen, whatever. But he doesn't want to do that. But then, that pays off for him, because those Gamorrean guards, when he and Shand are overpowered by those 5 or 6 assassins, they end up saving his life, and then they rush him back to the Bacta tank or Kolto tank or whatever it is, the healing tank, and he is able to get better and get healed and keep going, so the story, his life can continue, and we can get more of it. But it's only because he made that decision to be merciful, because he made the decision not to kill the Tusken Hound. He lived because it helped him in the fight against that thing. I don't know, if he'd killed that kid, he would have just been on the run, as opposed to getting in with the Tuskens and setting himself up for where he, is now in the show. So I started this analysis out asking if Boba Fett stands up to the scrutiny of a solo series. And I think the fact that I've talked about him probably for about 15 minutes of this 18 minutes by now runtime of the episode means that, yeah, he does stand up to scrutiny. And that's partially due to the fact, that he's being written so interestingly. There are visual storytelling elements which I did not really talk about yet. I might loop back to those in a minute, but I probably won't. But one of my favorite things to do with these analyses that I do is to take a quote from the episode and make that the title, because I feel like it captures something. And Boba Fett's quote of wanting to rule with respect, or rule out of respect instead of ruling out of fear, is what caught my attention. And really, I think it defines his characterization in this episode. We have seen him push and pull. I described it already a bunch. He earned his keep. He did all these different things. He worked hard. He wanted to include others in his plans and then reward them for their part in it, because he has this idea of reciprocity and respect, and almost like a transactional nature to his interactions with people. And I don't want to go off into psychoanalyzing and coming up with some deep thing to say about that, but I do want to highlight it and point it out that it sort of makes sense that as a bounty hunter, one of his primary or highest level modes of operation would be seeing his relationships with people as transactional. He is the hunter, and his quarry, when he captured them, they would reap him reward by him satisfying his client. So he's not only in a transactional relationship with the client who hired him to go catch a bounty, but he's also in a transactional relationship with his quarry who he sought. I wonder if that characterization specifically will continue, that he's got this transactional relationship, this reciprocity that he carries through. Basically, if you don't mess with him, he doesn't want to mess with you. Probably even that was the motivation behind him wanting to let the first tribute slide from the mayor, that he wanted to say, hey, I'm not going to push you too hard. I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to let the money come to me because it's going to come to me anyway, and we're going to have a long relationship, and I'm going to let you have a little latitude, and you're going to give me the money eventually, and you're going to let me have latitude, and you're going to get benefit from me being here as well. So I really like that. Something about that, I don't know, speaks to me or tickles me, or it's very interesting. It's very interesting, but it also makes so much sense. Like, it's the most natural thing in the world for Boba to have this transactional relationship with people. And I guess I'm curious to see how far it gets pushed beyond that and how it gets defined, because like the Mandalorian was motivated by honor and duty to his people, to his clan, and to the way of Mandalore. And that was enough to get him going as a character. And then things got a little more complicated as the show went on, and then his morals and his upbringing and all that came into conflict. So, you know, hopefully we're going to be getting a character arc with Boba, who I think it's fair to say, like, young Boba had a character arc, but we didn't get to see much of it because, well, for reasons. But, you know, in this show, I think there's a full opportunity for Boba to have an arc as well. He can have two arcs. He can have an arc of surviving the Sarlacc pit and then becoming Boss Boba, and then Boss Boba can have an arc as well, because he will have to face dangers in the present in order for things to be as exciting as possible. Although, I suppose if it's well written enough, all of the present, all of the Boss Boba timeline so far for at least season 1, which I think is only 6 episodes, could be concerned with with Boss Boba uncovering who's behind this conspiracy against him that sent these, you know, space ninjas or whatever after him. And we could just slowly uncover that, and maybe it would even tie back into somebody who he was interacting with during his time with the Tuskens, if they wanted to be very arrow about it, and I guess we'll see. So yeah, I'm satisfied that Boba Fett deserves this attention as a character. I like what they're doing with him so far. The show is entertaining. The fight with the weird sand monster at the end was interesting. It's funny to think about in context. Leia just choked out and strangled and killed Jabba the Hutt in almost the same way, and then Boba does it like a couple days later, a week later. That's kind of funny. Like, it's logical. It makes sense that he's in chains and he would use his chains to, you know, to do that, but I don't know. Although, I do want to point out something funny. How hard is that wood? That kid with the little Gaddafi, the Tusken kid with the Gaddafi, it was able to pierce through that sand lizard centipede monster dude's foot, and like, it looked like it maybe it didn't pin him into the ground, maybe it just sunk into his flesh, but, you know, his scales looked like they would have been more formidable than that, and they would have been able to ward off a stick. So that's a little silly, unless Tatooine has an extremely hard wood that, you know, rivals a Rorschach tree. I don't know, man. But that's just a little nitpick. But I thought the music was good. I honestly did laugh a little bit as the credits were rolling, and then like the very tribal music came on for Boba. And the music when he was crawling out of the sandpit was really cool. I like that. I don't know, you know, I need to hear the music more, like whatever. I need to hear Boba's theme more. I don't know if Boba Fett ever had a theme before, but obviously, Mando music dude, the Mando composer, I'm sorry, his name's too foreign. I have a hard time with like Germanic type names, learning them, and it'll take me a while, but I will try really, really hard to get better at that. Anyway, I liked his theme. I think the theme as he was crawling out of the Sarlacc pit is Boba's theme, but I didn't really hear that anywhere else in the episode. But anyway, that was cool. I like that it's a very grounded show so far. that they haven't gone off into space and haven't been flying around, and I'd be okay with if they just stayed on Tatooine, and it was his journey all on Tatooine, getting up to the point where he got the armor from Din, and then whatever mystery or whatever mystery or fight they're having to deal with in Boss Boba timeline as well. So anyway, I liked it. That was good. I'm looking forward to more. That's pretty much all I have to say. Go ahead and check out mjmunoz.com for more. I may release additional TikTok videos about this because I'm over there too. It's kind of fun. It's kind of different. It's kind of neat. There's not a lot to these reviews visually. I'm kind of just throwing like one image or maybe two at the most up there. So if you want to see a little bit more, you could go over to that to the TikTok for more visual entertainment. It'll be short. It'll be more focused. I'll probably tease out some things from here that I didn't talk about. Or I only briefly mentioned, and expand on them more as we're waiting for episode 2 or chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett to release. So anyway, you can check that out. But more importantly, always go to mjmunoz.com and check out all my stuff there. I have other Star Wars reviews. I have reviews and analysis, I should say. You can find all of Mandalorian season 1 and 2 there. Various Star Wars comic books, although that might be on the Swinging Through Comics side. So I have many things I do. You can find them all on mjmunoz.com. There should be an author, artist, and analyzer menu at the top. And if it isn't there yet, keep going back. It'll be there soon. And you'll be able to find everything that I do. All my writing work, all my analysis, and all my artwork as well. Because I do concept designs for characters that I'm making for things. And I'm actually working on artwork I'm going to be working on artwork for a children's book pretty soon, because I plan to release several children's books. I have some lower age ones that are kind of targeted to a market, or marketed to an audience that isn't probably anybody interested in this show at all, in this review of, or in both in the Book of Boba Fett and my analysis of it. I am also, however, creating a whole universe that I can play in, telling stories that are inspired by the comic books and anime and live action stuff that I've enjoyed over the years. So you can check back for that in the book section, and I'll do character designs for those, concept art for those characters who are going to be included in my wider universe of stories. So anyway, that's all for now. Go ahead and check that stuff out. Remember, you can always find, if you're listening to the audio only version, you can find this a video version of this on Odyssey as well as on YouTube. And subscribe to the RSS feed. This is episode 57 of Fully Operational, which is all Star Wars analysis. So if you like what you're hearing so far, you can go back through the archive and check out all the other stuff I've done. I do plan to do more after Book of Boba Fett is over. I'll probably hit most of the live action stuff, maybe not all of it. I do want to circle back to the movies, and I have a dream to crawl through all the vintage Marvel Star Wars comics, because I think that'd be really cool. Anyway, that's enough self-promotion for now. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, folks, take care, and remember, story is everything.